Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome back to the topic mechanical properties of solid. In the last lecture we had studied deformation and about the property of elasticity. Basically we have to study elasticity only in this topic. What is elasticity? We have already discussed that whenever any object regain its original shape and size after the removal of deforming forces, such object is called as elastic object. If a body is unable to regain its original shape and size, then we will call it as a plastic object. We all know that nothing is perfectly elastic and nothing is perfectly plastic. So let's move further in this topic. We have studied that deforming forces. Deforming forces are nothing but here we have taken one object which is almost elastic. You can take this as an elastic object. When I apply the deforming force means the force which is applied to change the shape and size of the object. So here I have applied the force from all sides and the object has almost changed its shape and size. But whenever I remove the forces, the object will regain its original shape and size. So you can consider this object as an elastic object. Deforming forces are the forces which I have applied over here to change the shape and size of this object. So what will happen? As soon as I apply the deforming forces, certain internal forces will develop inside this object which will oppose the deforming force. That is why when I remove the deforming forces, the internal forces will let the object to come back to its original shape and size. So these internal forces are called as restoring force. So in order to measure these forces, we will have to introduce two quantities called as stress and strain. Stress, by the name, it suggests that it is nothing but the force or a state of tension. So this quantity stress is related with the force. It is the measure of all the internal forces which has been developed inside the body to restore its original shape and size. So let us define the stress first. Obviously, we are going to measure these forces per unit area. On a unit area, we will have to measure the forces. So, stress is defined as the internal restoring force per unit area is called as stress. So, stress is written as force per unit area. And this force is, we all know that the internal force which has been developed inside the body, it is not measurable from our side. We can only measure the deforming forces which we have applied. So, we all know that in a state of equilibrium, we have taken this object. When we press it from all sides, the object will deform. And we know the measure of these deforming forces. In a state of equilibrium, when you keep it pressed, what will happen? Internal forces will become exactly equal to the deforming forces. So this internal forces is nothing but the measure of the deforming forces. So instead of saying internal restoring force, we can say that the applied force per unit area in order to deform the object is called as stress. It is force per unit area. Let's have its unit. Force is having a unit Newton and area is having a meter square. So Newton per meter square is the unit of this quantity stress, and its dimension. We all know that dimension of force is, as it is kg meter per second square. So m raised to 1, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, and area is having the dimension L raised to 2. So this quantity will have the dimension as L is having a 2 power in the denominator, 1 power will get cancelled. m raised to 1, it will become L raised to minus 1 and T raised to minus 2. This is the dimension of this quantity stress. Similarly, another quantity that we will have to measure is called as strain. Strain is nothing but when I apply the deforming forces, there is a change in the shape of the object, there is a change in the size of the object. There will be a change if it is an elongated object, so there will be a change in the length of the object as well. So these deforming forces causes a change in shape and size and length of the object and the volume of the object. So we will have to measure these changes, and that changes will come under the quantity called as strain. So as the dimension of the object has changed after the application of deforming forces, as the object will change its dimension, its length changes, area changes, volume changes, everything will get changed. So we can say that there will be a change in the dimension of the object when I apply the forces. So how you can measure these changes? Obviously when we compare it with the original one. So these changes are measured under the quantity called as strain. This strain is defined as the ratio of change in dimension to that of original dimension. Suppose the deformation corresponds to the change in length of the object. Suppose one rod is taken or one wire is taken, or you can consider it as a rubber. If you elongate it, when you apply the force to elongate it, it will have a change in its length. The wire will change its length. So by what amount the wire has changed its length, that will be the change in the length of the object. And original length is L. So at that time strain will be written as, here the strain is corresponds to the change in length. So strain will be nothing but delta L upon L, change in length per unit length, because the deformation corresponds to the change in length only. So let us revise these two quantities which are very important for us for the elasticity, that the internal restoring force per unit area is called as stress, and strain is the ratio of change in dimension to that of original dimension is called as strain. And basically there are three types of stress and three types of strain. It depends on the object and depends on the quantity what you are changing by the application of deforming forces. So very first type of stress and strain that we will have to study is tensile stress or a compressive stress. Tensile stress means what? Here we have taken the object is in the form or is the elongated object, or it is in the form of wire, or you can consider it as a rubber. So here we have taken one wire or one rod. You can consider it as a rod. It is having a length L. Let us apply the forces to deform this object. This object is taken. Now we will have to deform it by the application of force. So there are two ways that you can deform this object. You can apply the force at one side, at one end of this rod. Here the force applied only on this cross section area of the wire, or only on this cross section area of the rod. So force is applied over here in order to elongate it. So here we have applied that force and the rod has elongated. The length has increased by the amount, say delta L. So these are the changes which corresponds to the change in length. So such type of stress, such type of force that we have applied is called as tensile stress. Similarly, the same rod is taken, you can change its length, you can decrease the length of this wire. How you can decrease the length of this wire? You will have, for that you will have to apply the forces from these two sides in order to decrease its length. So the forces are exactly opposite, applied on this rod in order to change its length. Let again delta L is the change in length of this wire. So let us define the tensile stress. Here please keep it in mind that the deformation corresponds to change in length of the object. There will be only change in a length, and the cross sectional area is only the cross section of the base of the object. So tensile stress is defined as applied force, as we have discussed it, per unit area. So what is the applied force? We all know that applied force is F. It is mg, mass into gravitational acceleration, or whatever type of force you have applied. And area is the area of this cross section, and this cross section is circular, so area will be pi r square. It is going to have the same unit, Newton per meter square. Similarly, compressive stress. Compressive stress, here the change in length corresponds to the decrement in the length of the wire, and the object has been compressed. It is also of the same type. So in that case, compressive stress will also be defined as for applied force per unit area. Now let us define its second quantity, tensile stress or tensile strain or compressive strain. As I told you that the original length is capital L and change in length is delta L, and the deformation corresponds to the change in length of the object only. So tensile strain is nothing but change in length per unit original length. So we can write it as tensile strain as, what is the change in length? It is delta L. And what is the original length? It is L. So delta L upon L is the formula for tensile strain or a compressive strain. Remember that this particular stress or strain is also called as longitudinal stress or strain. Longitudinal, as it is related with the change in length, so that is why it is also called as longitudinal stress and longitudinal strain. And what is the unit and dimension of this strain? Strain is the ratio of two equal quantities. It is numerator is length, denominator is also length. So it is unitless and dimensionless. It is not having any unit and not having any dimension. This quantity is unitless as well as dimensionless. So let us quickly recall what is tensile stress. If the deformation corresponds to change in length of the object, then we will say that the stress is tensile stress or a compressive stress. Formula is same, force per unit area, and tensile strain is nothing but the ratio of change in length to that of original length. Change in dimension to that of original dimension. So now let us study second type of stress and strain, which is volume stress or volume strain. Volume stress is also called as hydraulic stress and hydraulic strain. So if the deformation, just now we have taken one object, the deformation corresponds to the change in volume of the object. Remember that if the deformation only changes the volume of the object, shape of the object will remain as it is. If it is a spherical object, then its entire shape will remain spherical. There will be a change in the size of the object only, bas. So volume stress is if the deformation corresponds to change in volume, does not changes its shape, that deformation is called as volume stress or volume strain. Here we have taken one spherical object, or you can consider it as a ball. When we press it from all sides, deformation is applied. Its volume will get reduced to say V dash. Let V, capital V is the original volume of this object, and V dash is the final volume after the deformation. Its volume, let it changes by the amount, say dV or delta V, you can say. Let delta V is the change in the volume. Similarly, here we have taken one cube. When we press it from all sides, it will not change its shape. There will be only change in the size of this cube. So if the deformation corresponds to the change in size of the object, then we will say that it is a volume stress and a volume strain. So let us define the volume stress first. Volume stress, as we all know that stress is having a formula for applied force per unit area. So volume stress is having a formula F upon A. Similarly, we all know that force per unit area is nothing but the pressure. So you can write it as pressure. So volume stress is nothing but the pressure applied to the object in order to deform it. It should not change its shape, or there will be a change in the size of the object only. It will have the same unit Newton per meter square and same dimension as that of the stress. Now, let us define volume stress. What is volume strain? Volume strain means what? The moment when we have applied the forces, the original volume of the object was V. Its volume changes by the amount dV. Then we will have to compare these two things which we have changed. So volume strain is nothing but change in volume per unit original volume, dV by V, or you can write it as delta V upon V. As we all know that it is the ratio of two similar quantities, so it will not have any unit or any dimension. So here we have completed the volume stress and volume strain. Now let's study the last type of stress and strain is shearing stress or shearing strain. This type of deformation corresponds to the change in shape. Remember that change in length is called as tensile stress or tensile strain, or compressive stress or compressive strain. Change in size of the object corresponds to the volume stress or volume strain, or hydraulic stress or hydraulic strain. And the last one, change in the shape of the object corresponds to the shearing stress or shearing strain. For that, what we have taken, again we have taken one cubical object, but we will apply the forces in such a way that there will be a change in the shape of this object. So here we have taken one cubical object ABCD. Then what we will do, we will apply the tangential force on the topmost surface of this cube. Here the tangential force is applied. So what will happen? The topmost layer will get displaced. Because of this topmost layer, the entire shape of the object will get changed. This after the application of the deforming forces, the object will take this shape. So the object has changed its shape. Let small l is the original length of this cube, and change in the length, let's say displacement in the topmost layer is delta L, and the angle subtended by the two sides of the shapes is theta. So shearing stress, how you can define it? Shearing stress is having the formula force per unit area. Same, the stress will have the same formula for applied force. Instead of applied force, what we will say that as we have applied the forces tangential to the object, so we can say that tangential forces per unit area is called as shearing stress, having the same unit Newton per meter square. Now let's define shearing strain. Shearing strain means what? Change in length per unit original length. So by what amount the object has changed its length? It is delta L, and original is L, delta L upon L. So from this diagram we can say that at the angle subtended by these two sides of the two objects are theta. So can you find out tan theta? Tan theta is opposite upon adjacent. So opposite side, delta L is the opposite side of that of theta, and L is the adjacent side. So you can write that delta L upon L as tan theta only. So shearing strain is having the formula tan theta. Shearing stress will have the same formula for a tangential force per unit area. So far we have studied 3 types of stress and 3 types of strain. Let's have a quick revision that 3 types of stress. If the deformation corresponds to the change in length, then the stress and strain will be called as tensile stress or compressive stress or a longitudinal stress. Similarly, strain will be called as tensile strain, compressive strain and longitudinal strain. Then if the deformation corresponds to the change in size of the object, then we will say that such type of stress is volume stress or a hydraulic stress, and strain will be called as volume strain or hydraulic strain. And the last one, if the deformation corresponds to the change in shape of the object, then we will have shearing stress and shearing strain. Shearing stress will have the same formula, only the force will be tangential over here, and shearing strain is as it is change in length on the displacement of the uppermost layer to the original layer. So delta L upon L, it is nothing but the tan theta from the diagram. So shearing stress strain is having the different formula tan theta. So hope you all have understood that this concept of stress and strain. Let's stop here. Thank you.